Hey friends, in this video I'm going to go through the top UX tools to use when designing in 2021, especially with the rise of remote working due to the pandemic. So let's get into it. So the first tool I'd recommend using for all of my UI work is Figma. The reason being is because it's a remote first tool and it's free to use, especially if you're new. A lot of software can be really expensive to get, however Figma is free and you don't have to require using a Mac. I've made a previous video about why you should switch from Sketch to Figma, be sure to check that out. But my main reason for in 2021 is with the rise of remote working and Figma being a web-based tool is more accessible to most people. So not just designers, we're talking about product managers, other developers. It's a lot easier when you're remote working to have as many people as possible to show your work and share your designs. However, one caveat I would say when it comes to design tooling, don't let it be a barrier to entry to letting you get started. If you have Adobe XD available to you, use that. If you have Sketch available, get started with Sketch. If you're using Figma, use Figma or InVision Studio. However, I would recommend Figma as it is the easiest to get started with. However, most of these tools are following the really same basic core principles. For example, Sketch is using symbols, Figma use components. If you have a good understanding of one tool, all of these learnings transcend really well into the other tools, so do not worry about picking what tool you have available. But if you have nothing, Figma is the best one to get started with, being free and browser based. So don't let the tooling be a barrier for you to get started. So when it comes to whiteboarding, creating flows, creating story maps, I use Miro for this purpose and it is perfect for remote working. So it's a remote first whiteboard tooling tool and it's definitely one of the best tools out there that is currently on the market. The reason being is just because how easy it is to get started and the learning curve is really simple. So anyone in your team can just sign up and get started within seconds. So you can invite all of your team members into your remote board and start jamming together and creating loads of cool ideas and sketches. Another cool thing about Miro is how easy it is to invite people to work together, as well as the whole anonymous mode where you have people on your whiteboard jamming together that could be named after animals and you're not sure who that person is. The reason being is people are going to be more open and receptive to give feedback when things are anonymous, and that's really great when you're trying to do a retro or get feedback on how things have been going on your team, or you're trying to get feedback on designs, you're trying to do various different ways of getting feedback. Miro makes this a lot easier. So I highly recommend Miro for whiteboarding, story mapping, creating flows due to the flexibility being remote first, as well as just how easy it is to get started and learn. So the tool I use for prototyping is Figma. The main reason being is because Figma makes things so easy to create prototypes. You can share prototypes really easily between your teams, and if you need to make any design changes, it doesn't really affect the prototype too greatly. So before, if you're using a tool like InVision, if you wanted to make a quick design change, something really simple like change the copy or change the font weight, you'd have to re-upload those designs to InVision and it'll be a really cumbersome process. But now having all of your designs into Figma and creating prototypes, that you don't have to do this. Also, another reason why Figma is great for prototyping is because how much more advanced it has become as a prototyping tool. So not with just the addition of Smart Animate, where Figma will automatically detect layers that have changed and you can create some cool custom animations and replicate some real world scenarios. There's now the addition of interactive components. So for example, you don't have to create various different screens to replicate something simple such as toggling a button on and off. With the addition of variants and interactive components, Figma can now replicate the scenario in a single screen, which saves you so much more time and it makes your prototypes a lot easier and more seamless. So that's why I think Figma is great for prototyping as well. So for usability testing, it's way harder to test in person due to the pandemic, yet usability testing is such an important part of the UX process. So remote testing tools are perfect for this. The tools I've been using are UserZoom and usertesting.com. They're both great tools that work really well. The way it works is you just get a Figma prototype link that's been fully created, and they will send this off to the participants who create an unmoderated test. You set up the test yourself, asking the questions and creating the tasks you want the users to complete, and they will complete this in their own time. You don't have to be there, and the results usually come back in less than a day. And once you get the results back, a lot of them are synthesized for you. For example, task completion rates, you get the score of how easy tasks were and any other thoughts, and also participants are trained to think out loud as well. So these tools are great during the pandemic where it's really hard to get access to users. However, remote testing works really well and you still get amazing insights, and I encourage everyone to check them out. So there you have it. Those are the tools I've been using during the pandemic and working remotely in 2021 to do UX design. It's a really simple set of tools, and I really believe that the less tools you have, the easier it is to manage your workflow, because things really do get out of control. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for future design related videos, comment down below what tools you've been using, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.